just got done watching A24's Past Lives, and I know we're in a summer full of countless blockbusters like Indiana Jones, The Flash, Mission Impossible's coming out soon, but may I say, if you are a cinephile, or someone who just loves going to the movies, or someone who's passionately waiting for that next timeless classic romance tale, Past Lives is the movie for you, and this movie is a masterpiece. What Celine Song has done with this film is absolutely incredible, and bar none one of my favorite things that I have watched this year, and it really touched my soul in so many different ways, and it will speak to yours as well, and I definitely can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. If you're an A24 fan, let me know what your favorite A24 film is so far. Have you watched any this year? As well as make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more movie-related content on a daily basis. I love talking movies. I love talking TV. I'm a nerd for it all, and if you're here, then you're certainly in the right place. Past Lives about, you might not have heard about this film because it is a smaller, low-budget film. We've got Nora and Ha Sung, two deeply connected childhood friends who are wrest apart after Nora's family immigrates from South Korea. Decades later, they are reunited for one fateful week as they confront destiny, love, and the choices that make a life. Now, this movie is very deep, and it is very emotional, and it is a romance that spans over decades. From the very first 5 minutes, what it establishes, to the second that it drops you all the way back to their childhood, and you see the upbringing from there. One of the things that actually really surprised me about this movie is the fact that it's only an hour and 46 minutes. When you talk about a decade-spanning romance, you would assume that this is going to hit the 2.5-hour runtime, and it never actually felt like it needed to. I think what Song does here as a director and writer is so profound in the way that they are able to tell a story that flies by, and you really do get that metaphorical feeling of life flashing before your eyes. It felt like their lives, their romance, flashed before my eyes. The time the ending flew around and the lights went up, I was like, oh my god, it's already been an hour and 46, that's it. And I absolutely loved my time with these characters, and specifically the stories that they start to go through. I think it's very unique when you get to see a film like this where it does get to tell a story that's not overly expanding, and it's able to bring you into the romance in such a far and beautiful nuance than I ever expected. Going into this movie, I didn't really know what to expect. I just thought it was going to be one of your basic romances that they probably don't get together, or maybe they do and they find their way, and I shouldn't have expected that because that's not what A24 is about. A24 always finds films that are always unique. Past Lives is one of those, but this is a timeless romance that I could easily see becoming a fan favorite for many indie lovers out there. Maybe even a film that many people discover when it hits streaming, and that's why I really much can't emphasize enough that you go and support this in the theater. Before I get any too deep into this film, I do want to talk about some of the performances and of course the directing and writing once again. Starting with the performances though, Greta Lee, who plays Nora in here, is absolutely phenomenal. Every single moment with her, you absolutely fall in love with her performance, specifically the way that her character comes across. There's a lot of difficult choices that you can tell that she is very much making, and when you analyze the way that she moves her character, the way that she is maybe gripping her fist or fidgeting her hands, these little nuances play into the character and specifically what her character is facing off on. All the synopsis, like I read, ends up telling you that Nora and Ha end up going and meeting back up for a week. There is a unique aspect to that all, because a lot of this film actually is the build up to that and where they are in their lives throughout it all and how they are continually bonding throughout that all. And of course, this movie would be nothing with also T Yu, who plays Hae Sung in here, who I just thought was great. Their chemistry with one another is spectacular, and I could not get enough of them. Like, they were just delightful, and you instantly fall in love with them, even if a lot of their conversations actually for a majority of this film happen to handle all over a cell phone or Zoom. And one of the big pieces that actually ties a lot of this together is John Magaro, who plays Arthur. Now, I don't want to get into Arthur's role too much in this film, but when it finally comes into place to be, I thought John's part in here was actually very profound, and for me, he has one sequence between him and Greta Lee in here that takes place in a room, in a dark room when it's late at night, and their conversation right there, like from then on, is all the parts that start to make you swell with emotion, tying together everything that you already saw in the beginning of this film and the way that it kind of just comes to fruition there, and then from then on. Because once you get that moment, it's get the tissues ready. Because Greta Lee then has another amazing moment between her and T Yu. And for me, watching both of them interact at this bar was one of them, again, I say this word profound, also one of the most biggest think pieces that you'll have, just within their conversation alone. Because the star of this film, while all of them are fantastic, it's Celine Song. Celine Song's script in here is one of my favorite scripts that I've encountered in quite a while. For me, it's one that explores so many different avenues that we all go through within our romantic life, whether it's regret, fate, love, the feelings that you get throughout all those emotions. Emotions that we feel are sometimes things that make us look back at our past and maybe wonder, if I would have done this, how would it have shifted this way? If I would have done this, what would have changed here? And the way that, it touches into the culture of Korea and what they believe in, honestly, for me, kind of like really hit me hard. And I love learning about new cultures and just in general their ways of thinking and how, relationships can work in that avenue. And again, Celine Song really much brought that to light. This film will rip your heart apart. It'll pull it apart. It'll bring it back together. And it's one of those movies that just makes you feel so right at it, even though it does kind of make you feel alone and makes you also kind of just analyze everything else going on in your life. I think one of the things that is so unique to see is that no matter how far apart you are from someone, it always feels like those invisible forces can bring you together back into each other's lives. And that title, Past Lives, is one of the most clever titles that I've seen for a movie in quite a while, because the way that it actually symbolizes so many different avenues. Specifically, it could be 8,000 other lifetimes that you've had with one other person through reincarnation or whatever you want to believe in. There's that aspect to look at. But the other aspect is the past lives that we all live throughout our world. Specifically, as you see her move and immigrate to different avenues of the world, whether it started with her in Korea as a kid and then jumping over into Canada and then where that takes her on next. All these elements, you can totally tell, have really fused and changed her life, and her life has overall changed. And I think what us as society looks at is that we do live different lives. While we have this one life, whatever you want to say, we live this one life, and we might choose someone to be in our life. Like for me, my fiance, I absolutely love her. I love seeing what we get to do. There was past lives that she had before I had met her, when she was younger, when she was growing up, when she went through school. And the same thing can be said about me. There's different lives that I've lived already in my own world, but they're all different, all leading up to that. And the way that song is able to bring that about just, again, gets me very emotional even thinking about it. The performances and all the avenues that they go through are so complex and really much capture the genuine feeling that you can feel while getting to know someone and getting to live your own life. These relatable performances are so beautiful and poetic. It's achingly hurts to watch this film. One of the most interesting elements of this film is the way that it hits you like a gut punch. Like, maybe not in the moment you won't feel as emotional, but the second you get in your car and you start driving home, you just start having all these swelling emotions hit you. And it's one of those films that in some ways will inspire you to want to write your own book, or maybe write about your life, or just in general direct your own movie, or feel inspired to take on some creative avenues. The fact that Celine Song is a brand new storyteller in Hollywood that we all get to look forward to whatever they bring next, even if it might break our hearts all over again. That's where I'm going to leave it at. A24's Past Lives is a masterpiece. It lives up to everything you've heard about it already, and truly a romance for the ages that will break your heart, bring it back together, and then touch your soul. Celine Song's exploration on regret, fate, love, and feelings will bring you to tears. I loved this movie so much, and I found that the performances again were excellent, but Song's direction is everything that is very special to this. And while I might have rambled on about this film and everything that it kind of felt, I've sat here for so long trying to grip my feelings on this movie. And as I like to do with my reviews, is come right out of the theater, come home, and get to review it. But as I sat here, I just found myself speechless, utterly taken back by this movie. And it takes a lot when you see so many movies a year. It takes a lot for a movie to do that. I know sometimes I'll talk about certain movies in a genre and be like, that movie was perfect for that specific thing. But when I look at everything in its way, this is one of those timeless romances that will absolutely be studied for the years to come. And with that said, I'm going to give Past Lives an A+. Thank you so much again, guys, for watching this. Make sure to leave your thoughts down below. I cannot wait to read your guys' thoughts on this movie. And of course, make sure to look out for more movie reviews coming soon. So of course, until next time, stay classy.